like drinking, and I don't know, just about having fun in it. Do you know what I mean? We don't take things too seriously, and don't necessarily make the best decisions. I think the hangovers speak for themselves, but the band is supposed to. I think the name comes from the fact that it's just to show people that we're about having a good time. That is the priority at all times. We want people to come to the gigs so they can have a good time and not worry about other people's shit. You know what I'm saying? Same with us. I want to go to a gig because I don't want to think about work. I don't want to stress about shit my day to day. And I want people that come to the gigs to feel the same.
Bozos is a one-word name, which is extremely rare nowadays to come up with. And there are other bands called Bozos if you look into it, but they're all either dead or in jail. So I love the fact we have a one-word name.
You're not there yet?
No, we're not there yet.
For me, it's like my rawest form of expression. I don't need to pretend to be someone else. I see myself in my element when I'm doing it because it's what I want to do. It makes me happy. And it just means everything. Always has and it always will. We're Bozos from Bristol, playing Camden, Lock Tavern, come with our friends Fubar, playing some more gigs outside the city, needing to get on that. Punk rock, heavy metal, gotta be done, gotta be exposed. Three of us are from Bristol, went to secondary school together, grew up in similar areas, stayed in touch after, all grew up with the same stuff, shit our dad would listen to, and wanted to do the same as that shit.
We like hanging out in Easton with all the other punk bands.
Chelsea.
But yeah, I don't think we necessarily fit in with the other bands. It's a lot more rock, I'd say.
All the other bands take influences from, a lot of different stuff, but, people bring up things like Slaves and Idols, and, a lot of, cross-punk bands, stuff like that. But we're listening to Thin Lizzy, Black Sabbath, Motorhead, Ramones, Deicide, Slayer, which, a lot of other bands in the scene take influence from, but, I think we're just doing it in a different way, because we're just looking at, I don't think we're necessarily taken from the past, but trying to bring certain things back that we don't see other people do, especially not young bands. Because it's about having fun. A lot of other bands are very politically conscious, which, we respect. I think the other bands do it well, but that's not what we want to do when we listen to music. We want to have a good time. Sing about getting fucked up with boys, going out, listening to tunes, having a smoke, you know what I mean? Just trying to, express ourselves and what we do. I think we do a good job of it.
Tried to be in other bands before, but I never felt like everyone was on the same page, had the right dedication. But when I joined Bozos, because they needed a bass player, I felt like we already sort of knew each other. I knew Fabio quite well by that point, and just the hard rock vibes hit me good. Because you try and join other bands and it's like try and do modern metal or something else you're not too interested in. But when it hits perfectly, I think we're all in sync pretty well in terms of taste.
I was surprised he liked us, to be honest.
Yeah, was that?
I guess you were into more metal stuff at the time.
Yeah.
And we didn't have much. Our early stuff was more in the punk sense.
We only really took influence from like Motorhead or Black Sabbath when it came to metal-y stuff until a bit later on when we were all listening to a bit more thrash and shit like that. But
I did see the hard rock influence as well, even if it wasn't intentional. It's definitely there. We just tell each other what we think basically. We don't really hold back when we're writing as well. And we'll try anything if someone wants to try it, and if it works, we'll stick to it.
we're open to trying different stuff. We don't hold ourselves to genre restrictions. You know, regardless of whether we're a punk band or a rock band or whatever label, if we're listening to something that isn't necessarily that and we want to take influence, we will. We all listen to different stuff. We have a lot of common ground, but we listen to different stuff. You know, like he'll listen to Beach Boys the same day. He'll listen to Slayer. You know, I'll listen to Typo Negative the same day. I'll listen to fucking Stone Roses. And you know, what would you listen to the same day?
Malignancy.
Yeah.
And Rolling Stones.
And Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
You know, we like a lot of different stuff, and we do bring that to the band. You know.
Want to do it, and that's why we keep doing it. And you know, we're not making money off it. We're losing a lot of money, really. But it's just what we want to do. And we sort of, I guess in a way, we sort of push ourselves into it, like sort of bully ourselves in a way. Like
we have similar goals.
If I didn't want to do something, I'd probably get called a pussy for not wanting to play a gig. But you know, it's how we get ourselves doing things.
We've known each other for so long that we don't need to pretend to be people who are not around each other.
We can insult each other.
Show.
Yeah, I fucking hate that as well. When you see some like shit indie band and they're all just stood there like dickheads, not moving, just looking at their fretboard. Sometimes you need to look at your fretboard, but you should at least put something physically, like physical intensity is so important in live music.
Rock has to have energy.
Yeah.
It's not rock if it doesn't have energy at all. It doesn't matter how good the music is. If you're not putting everything into it physically, then it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, I can't help it really. It's just what happens.
People might think we're performing or whatever because, you know, we got our moves and shit like that, but we don't rehearse it. It comes naturally.
Social Bozos! What do you think about?
Almost everywhere in Bristol. We just want to escape the city sometimes. It's so much fun to see how other places work.
Yeah, play to a room full of people who don't know who you are. That's always cool. You know,
and the crowds can be quite different as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you don't know what they're expecting until you get there.
Like seeing people who don't know who we are, like having a good time vibing. That's awesome. You know, if they were stood still, you know, I'd feel a bit sad about that. But they weren't. So
we'll win them over.
It's nice. Yeah.
We'll win them over. You know, when it comes to like, you know, whether we're playing to 10 people or 100 people, whatever, it doesn't matter. We're always going to do it the exact same way. Always, and will never change. That will never get compromised. You know, we do things our way, and we're always going to do it our way. You know, people might not get it, you know, because whether it's the music or the way we are on stage or like, you know, how we kind of see things, but it doesn't matter because we're being ourselves and, you know, it's fun, you know. We need to express ourselves some way. This is the way we do it. Rather be doing it through music than fucking pursuing some shit career and actually care, right? Do you know what I mean?
Violence
Violence.
in the streets.
Yeah. Grew up loving the bands that we listened to, and regardless of what's going on around the world, you know, because I think it's a really good thing that a lot of bands sing about contemporary issues. A lot of bands after COVID were about that. A lot of bands were about Brexit and all the like social stuff that's gone on since. But you know, we've always had the same mindset of like we grew up listening to rock music, old rock music, and that's supposed to be out by having a good time. We want to have a good time, get a bit pissed, play some tunes, and that's why we do it. It was going to happen regardless of what was going on. A lot of bands are different, so it's pretty accessible to be able to play different things, you know. It might not be for everyone, but you go to what's considered a punk venue, but every band there is going to have their own thing. They're all going to take different influences from different places.
The first gig we played at Chelsea was like folk and electronic shit.
Yeah.
And then like, I can't remember what else it was, maybe indie or some
Yeah,
shit.
it was.
But yeah, playing a lot of those gigs, I think it has helped us knowing people and other bands. I think lineups help a lot in terms of gigs.
Agreed.
If everyone there has a similar mindset of what they like, then it's more likely that they're going to get into it.
Agreed. And I think people see what we're doing, you know. People can tell that we like Motorhead, people can tell we like Black Sabbath, people can tell we like the Ramones. And, you know, we're not stealing from them, but we're taking things that, as much as people like these bands, and they do take influence, I don't think they take influence the same way we do. You know, I think a lot of bands, you know, a lot of punk bands, you know, very experimental. People try a lot of different stuff since the genre's been created or whatever. But, you know, sometimes as much as I think music moving forward is important, you need to look at older bands and take influence from there. And I think there's a good amount of bands in the Bristol scene that do that. I think a lot of people are definitely trying to do their own thing because their influences are different than ours. But the Bristol scene overall is really strong because it's so diverse. And it is the best place, best city in the UK if you want to be in a band.